Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead Q&A after the finale of Season 5 leading up to Season 6. This one counts as the Walking Dead Season 6 Q&A number 5 already. We're going to be starting off with the question, why was there blood on the sword when Peter arrived prior to killing Reg? Okay, so this one was suggested by many of you. I've seen many people in comments bring this up, and at first I kind of shrugged it off because I just didn't have any idea. I was like, what? Wait, what? There's blood on it? And it just seemed like one of those things that didn't make sense or wasn't actually the case. You know, I get a lot of comments of things that are not accurate. But then I started to see so many of them. I'm like, okay, maybe I should check this out. And I can't accredit it to just one person, unfortunately, because I've seen a lot of people bring this up. This clip is, or this picture is taken right before Peter, kills Reg accidentally. Well, is it accidental? I mean, it's I don't know. It's kind of like it's accidental, but not entirely. It seems to me like he didn't really care. You know, he was in a state of reckless abandon, and he pushes Reg off him because he wants to kill Rick. He's ready to kill Rick, and he kind of, in his fit of rage and anger, inadvertently kills Reg. I'm sure a cool-headed Peter would not have wanted to kill Reg at this point, since Reg has done, a lot for him with the walls and everything. But he's angry at everybody, so it seems to be inadvertent. Anyway, that said, yeah, this is prior to Reg being killed. This is before he slashes him, and as you can see here, as many of you have commented, 100% accurate. There is definitely blood on that sword prior to the slash, prior to the point when Peter kills Reg. So the question, of course, becomes, and this is a question many people have been asking me, well, where did it come from? So it's a very great comment and a very great catch from you guys. This is where you guys, a lot of times, more than just one person can look over the episode many times and just not see certain things. But as a whole, you guys definitely notice a lot more than even I do, when watching the episodes, or any reviewer would, just with the amount of things you guys catch. Even people that make things you missed video, or things you missed blogs, or things like this. I didn't see this until you guys brought this up. So this is very cool. So I wanted to share this, and I wanted to do some kind of theories and try to answer the question as best I can, even though I think this one kind of falls in the realm of totally unpredictable. There's really no indication of, who Peter would have killed prior to him getting there. It could just be a zombie on his way. It could have just been a zombie on his way to getting there, because we do know some zombies got in from outside. We also know that there were some other characters that were not at the meeting, one of which, who had just prior to this, had left to go to close the gates, was Spencer. So is it possible that Spencer, Reg and Deanna's other son, because Aiden, of course, was their son that was killed off, in Spend, is Spencer the one who had maybe tried to stop Peter and Peter killed him along the way or something? Oh man, that's really tough to say. He also hasn't been developed very much, so I wouldn't think that they would kill him off in such a fashion. However, if they do show it to us, it wouldn't be a bad way to start off season 6 in some kind of flashback sequence to prior to Peter getting here. So, is it possible it's a mistake? It is possible it's a mistake. Maybe they, put blood on it prior and they just hoped nobody would notice, and they kind of went through and did it that way, because sometimes we do get little weird things like that with The Walking Dead, as we've mentioned in the past before, and, sometimes things just don't add up entirely. But let's go with the idea that it is deliberate and that they did do it on purpose and that he must have killed something or somebody prior, either a zombie or somebody around. Now, one of the other leading concerns or thoughts that people bring up is that he may have killed Carl or Judith before getting there. I would tend to think probably not. Now, we do see them just prior to this scene. Just sort of like a minute or two before, in kind of a scene where it shows us where they've got that toy, the girl, the dancing ballerina music box, right? And they're playing that, and you have Judith, she's there, and you have Chandler Riggs as Carl, and they're kind of smiling. They look happy. They don't look to be concerned or in any kind of distress. but we also don't know where they were. We do know that the katana was held, I believe, at Rick's house, or Michonne's. Yeah, Michonne and Rick. I think were they sharing the same house? Because I think it was in the background when Peter came to talk to Rick, unless they've separated since then, if you remember that scene from a few episodes back. So, man, a lot of unknowns here. Really tough to kind of say, which way this would go and who the blood could come from, including in the fact it could just be a production mistake, right? They could have put it on prior and just hope nobody would really notice, even though we have. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. For this one, for me, this is a completely unpredictable one. I would think I'd go most likely with probably a zombie. Then I'd go with maybe Spencer, and then after that, Judith. Would Peter do that? Would he kill Rick's baby prior to coming there? I don't think so. Or Carl? No, I don't think so. I think he hates Rick, but I don't. As a doctor, I don't think he would be able to go to the extent to kill Carl or kill a baby. That's pretty extreme. Let's be honest here. I know he's hot-headed and he's gonna, he's accidentally killing Reg and stuff, but I don't think he would go to that extent. So those are kind of my thoughts in terms of what I think in terms of probability for you guys. Write your comments below, because again, you guys see things that I don't see, and I didn't even catch this, in watching it. So it's pretty good catch from you guys. Amazing. So let me know what you guys think. I'm really looking forward to seeing your comments on this one, and who you would attribute the blood to, who's it from, or is it a production mistake? Let me know what you guys think, and yeah, let's go forward with some other Q&A questions. Okay, and next question is from BrendoCalrissian. And Brendo says, Trev, do you think the wolves will actually pose a serious threat in Season 6? They have little gear, weapons, and supplies. How could they take on a community like Alexandria? And then I want to include this with the following question. This one was from Timon Soccer17. And Timon says, hey Trev, Scott Gimple said, in a quote here, he says, for a good while now, humans have been the biggest threat, but that will change in Season 6. Do you think that's kind of a hint we may see No Way Out in Season 6? Seems like a real possibility. So I want to join those two together since they are related. So the first one from Brendo. Do the wolves by themselves pose a serious threat in Season 6 to Alexandria? No. No, they don't. I wouldn't say. Not the two that we've seen so far. Those two that Morgan took out by himself that had no ammo, and they had an army of zombies. Yeah, they did have that. But they were just using knives, and Morgan was able to beat them. That's not a knock against them. Morgan is, obviously super practiced and tough with that staff. He's traveled all the way there, so he's probably killed, hundreds of zombies along the way, maybe thousands, by the time he's actually gotten there with the damn thing. So, from that perspective, yeah, it makes perfect sense that he would beat the two of them. But those two by themselves do not. No, you're totally right. And they didn't even have even one bullet in the gun. Now that could be, and I've talked about this in previous Q&As, because of this OCD they have to keep everything and take absolutely everything. Or it could be, and they may actually have some ammunition and some firepower we don't know about. But from the looks of it, seems like they don't have all that much. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I think there are more members of the Wolves, and we talked about this before as well too. That in order for them to pose a serious threat, because you want your villain in a series or story to pose a threat to your hero. This is always a problem I have with Superman and Lex Luthor. Superman is Superman. Lex Luthor is just a regular, let's say he's an incredibly intelligent, kind of super intelligent, gifted human being to the height, to the peak of intelligence, right? And it's got all the money and all that stuff. So does he pose a threat to Superman? Well, he's always got the kryptonite and stuff like that. But it's I don't feel like it's 100%. It doesn't get me because I don't like that matchup between Lex and Superman, because it's does Lex really pose a threat to Superman? It feels like not really. I mean, unless he can keep the kryptonite there all the time, and he's played by Kevin Spacey, who's pretty badass. Let's be honest. He just doesn't. It doesn't make sense, and that's the exact same type of situation here with the Wolves, where do these two pose a threat? No. So are we as excited to see it go down? No, we're not. So I want to join these two together because of what Gimple said, because of course he's the showrunner for the series. I think there's going to be more wolves still. Even 5 or 6 wolves probably won't pose a serious threat to the overall community, but they could at least, cause some trouble. And if they can knock down the gates and get, a pack of walkers inside or something and kill a few survivors from Alexandria, that will definitely help. Consider, too, that most of Alexandria, for the most part, is basically useless. You have Rick and the survivors. They're your toughest group right there. Then you have maybe Tobin, who's pretty big, probably can shoot pretty well. It seems to be pretty tough, big guy, right? At least got some body weight if you're going to wrestle with him or something. You can put that against you, which is always useful to have in a close type of situation. Granted, we don't know how good of a shot he is, but he seems to be a fan of guns. Then I think there was Heath there, or maybe it's not Heath, but a guy with him. Then we had, of course, Nicholas, who at least can shoot to some degree, shot Glenn. We'll have to see what happens with him. He's not to be trusted anyway. So, most of the Alexandria survivors are not all that useful. Spencer, he's there. Aside from that, who else do we have? Who else is a good shot? Who else is willing to fight? A lot of the others are going to be cowardly. So, so they have some. They're definitely going to bolster. They have numbers, which is it's always good to have numbers. That's always a benefit, as long as they don't go Woodbury style and all just decide to run away, and then the psychology of groupthink pulls the other away, right? So that could be a negative thing if that happens, unless Rick's such a strong leader that he tells them how serious it is and tells them to stay the course, and they actually, don't give in to fear, and they man up, so to speak, and fight if they have to. Then no, the two wolves by themselves don't. However, a whole pack of them with a herd of zombies, with an initiation, right? An init, they can initiate on them. It's always useful to have an init. Then maybe they can break down the walls with a semi going through there and unload a huge pack of zombies. They're W-branded zombies. Use them as a distraction, and then flank them or something. Climb the wall or something and flank them from another perspective. It could work. At least it could be a danger to some of them, but I don't think you could take them all down. But it could be a decent threat, a significant threat. But I don't think that they have much of a chance just with a couple. So it's got to be more. We have to see more wolves. But connecting to that, the second question from Timon, because I hadn't read this quote from Scott Gimple. I know they've been doing a lot of interviews lately, and I will admit I haven't gone through all of them. There's just a lot. There's like interview with Norman Reedus, one with Andrew Lincoln, Gimple, and maybe even Kirkman has probably done a few. I've read some of them, but not all of them. And he says here, and I hope this quote is legit, Timon, otherwise you're making me look dumb. Scott Gimple said, "For a good while now, humans have been the biggest threat, but that will change in Season 6. We've kind of seen that already. We've seen that start. The second half, Tyrese is killed by a random zombie. You've got the zombies on the road when they're exhausted, and they seem like a decent threat. You've got Abraham getting accidentally cut by Sasha, and we are getting the idea that the zombies are wearing down some of our survivors, especially Sasha and her emotional state, and some of the others as well, too. We are getting the sense that the zombies are wearing some survivors down. Also, of course, you have the huge pack that the wolves have is tons of numbers. So if they use them, because they seem to like to use everything, they're scavengers and they keep every last little drop, everything they keep and use to their benefit, right? They've got this, I call it like an OCD type thing about keeping things, like collecting things, like hoarders. They're hoarders. They're hoarders. They even collect zombies. They're like me, a hoarder. Some people consider me to be a hoarder because all my Walking Dead stuff and figures and stuff. So I can see that. I'm not going to defend that. You could view me that way if you choose to do so. For a while now, humans have been the biggest threat, but that will change in Season 6. So his second part to his question, do you think we'll see No Way Out in Season 6? Yeah, I think so. I think that's going to be our main kind of storyline. The wolves, which is like the scavengers, and No Way Out. I think they're going to extend that. They're going to add in a lot of other things, and they're going to make that into at least half of Season 6. More likely, the majority of it, out of 16 episodes, which is a lot, If you look at Season 5, what do we have? We had the Hunters, which was really one trade, which was extended into about 4 episodes. Well, the second half of Season 4 was also with the Terminus. They had added in a whole bunch there, to make that, and that worked out really well into the Fear of the Hunters. So there was that trade, and then there was the following one. Off the top of my head, I can't think. There was Too Far Gone, which was the trade name where they have the party and all that. So that was in there. Life Among Them, that was kind of part of it. That's another trade. So they've done a few. They did like a few trades for Season 5. For Season 6, I would expect them to do probably about 3, and then add in the rest, maybe 4. But if they can do 3 or 4, this is another topic we can talk about in another Q&A. If they can keep it to 3 or 4 trades, which is about 12 to 18 issues of the comic book series, then each year The Walking Dead can release another 2 to 3 trades a year, and they can actually cover the amount of new content they've created, so it'll never catch up. You see what I'm saying? If they release 18 issues of the comic book series and the TV series covers 18 issues, it will never catch up because the comic book series will always go ahead, and both will go ahead like that. And they will never catch up. Sometimes the comic book series, they don't always release one issue a month. A lot of times, like recently, they've been doing it bi-weekly every 2 weeks, which means that, if they can do that for half the year or something, then we can get an extra trade in there, and you can get 18, and then the show can use 18, and you'll never even catch up. In addition, the comic book series has had a time skip, which was a couple years, which maybe in the TV series they just won't even do. They'll just go through those years, which could also give them a couple more seasons. So that's another topic. We can talk about that later. But as long as they can do that, and keep it interesting and not suffer in terms of quality by adding in enough good content, then it should be great. But yeah, No Way Out should be in Season 6. Yeah, it should be, which is basically, for those of you guys who don't know, I'll put a link in the description. I did a video explaining what No Way Out is, which is just basically a humongous herd of zombies, the biggest we've seen since probably Season 4, the episode where Daryl and the others get stuck in the herd with the tires spinning on the zombie bodies. That was an amazing scene, man. That was incredible. Something like that, but it comes right into their front gates, comes right into their community, which is pretty sweet, right? Exciting. So we'll do like one more. This one is from, actually we'll do 2 more. Bergebor Rainison. I'm not sure what country he's from. He didn't put. Q&A question here. So I've been reading the Walking Dead comics, and I thought, what if Morales is part of the Hilltop community? Love your channel and keep up the good work. At this point in time, I'm gonna pretty much say, without further indication. If we don't get any more indication, I'm going to assume we're never going to see the character again. He may be that one character that we never see again. They've brought Morgan back, so we've had that with Morgan, and pretty much every character, Sam from Season 4 showed up in Season 5. Almost every character we've seen throughout has come back. Every character that's been given time has been in the series again. We haven't had too many that have been in the series and we've never seen again that actually had a face and some dialogue in that. But with Morales, like I've said this years ago, I would think that him and his family would be dead at this point. I don't think they would survive all the way until now. I really don't, not with what they left with. And, seeing, that he, just that he had his family, but he's like the only one to protect them. It just seems to me like it wouldn't work. Either he'd be alive by himself, and his whole family would be dead, or something like that. And I've talked about that in the past before too. But without further, info, I don't think we should even keep talking about it, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just going to leave it here. I don't think we'll see Morales again, period, unless we see something. Because the actor who played him, he had put on his Twitter that he's not dead in that, with a picture in that. And he was at some events there too for Walking Dead. But they never brought him back in Season 5. So unless he keeps on Gimple and he keeps calling them and harassing them or something, give me a part, give me a season. That said, it could be good filler, so that they can remember how we're talking about the comic book series, staying ahead. If they do Morales' part, then boom, they can put him in and fill out that season so that we don't cover too much of the comic book series. But without further indication, we can't really keep talking about it because we don't know. We don't know what if they're ever going to bring him back at all. They just might not, right? They just might not. That's been a while. People almost forget too. A lot of casual viewers won't even remember him, right? From Season 1, they wouldn't remember. It could be 4 or 5 years since they've seen Season 1. So anyway, I'll call it here for today's Q&A for you guys. Let me know what you think about that. Heavily interested to see the comments in this one. Can't wait to see what you guys write about. Who's the blood from, or is it just a mistake? It could be either. There's really no way to know. It could be on purpose, or they could have just put it on there and not realized that we would catch it because we watched the episode so carefully, that they wouldn't think that we would notice it, and we did. So let me know what you guys think, and write your comments below. Let me know what you think about Morales. Do you think we'll ever see him again? At this point, I'm starting to say, yeah, I don't think so. Maybe we'll do one more Q&A touching on him, just saying, that can be a lead question for Q&A. Do I think we'll ever see him in the series again? Because that's a better question. I don't think we'll see him in Season 6, but will we ever see the character again? Good question, man. I'll have to think on that one. Let me know what you guys think. Write it in the comments below, and if you liked this Q&A, you like the Daily Dead, you want me to continue doing it, thumb it up below. Share it, favorite it if you wouldn't mind. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left, go ahead and click the subscribe. You'll get these videos almost daily. You'll join the rest of us deadheads, including myself. And so I said, Trev, don't call yourself a deadhead. That's rude. It's like, I'm just being, it's not to be demeaning, not to be rude. It's just, I'm a deadhead. Whatever, I'm a deadhead. Anyway, so for this one, see you guys for the next one. As always, it's Trev saying peace. Later, guys.